calls on the contest. I'm interested in what you guys have to say. Here's Larry in Boca Raton, Florida. Let's hear from him. Larry's a good call. He listens. He's a good man. Go ahead, Larry. Go ahead.
Dog, yeah, my real name is Larry, and I'm really from Boca.
Okay.
Let me give you my, and I feel like I'm dialing against the wind. Let me give you my 2 cents on this. All right, I've been on 6 game shows. I produced a couple game shows. You guys are professional talk show hosts and producers. You're not professional game show producers. I won't play the game next year. I'll come up there if you want me, and I'll help you to straighten the whole thing out. The fact that your guys didn't know whether it was 2 years or 5 years shows there's a lot of room for improvement. What's going on is you got a group of dedicated guys with automatic dialers, and they're all linked together.
We were right. We thought, Larry, we thought it was 5 years. So that was our understanding. Now, what you can get honest for is we didn't peruse the rules prior to the contest, but how are we supposed to know the legal department's going to make a mistake like that?
No. I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's not what I called about. I mean, if you go through the rules, and like I said, I was on game shows for 20 years when I was younger, and I won a lot of money. The rules are very, very precise. Okay, if anybody provides false information or misinformation and so forth, they're disqualified from the contest. And
we could do that. Yep.
It doesn't matter whether they've already won, okay? They get disqualified. I mean, I've heard of people actually going to jail for it. I mean, I could tell you stories about Millionaire that you just would not believe, and I'm not going to say it on the air. But, people who were able to rig their way to New York all the time. But you could definitely, with someone who knows what they're doing, you could eliminate this. The same people, I'm telling you, are calling you. I hear their voices using different names, different phone numbers. There's maybe 30 of them or whatever, and they're screwing up your contest. And the average Joe who loves your show has no chance, none. I mean, realistically, come on. If you have 1 or 2 people who've won before, you have 4 people who won before. And for all the people who, I'd love to win and take my kid. That would be fantastic. These people, they're gonna sell the tickets and divvy up the money, and it's just a shame. So,
I wish I 100% everything you said. I think that the 5-year, 2-year thing, anybody, whatever, I should have read the damn thing. Steve should have read it. Somebody should have read it. So I get your point on that. I don't know, you got a smart audience out there. They've been hearing me do this contest for 30 years. Go ahead, Kyle.
That all sounds great in theory, but how do you prove that somebody's using a fake voice or a fake number? You can't prove that. We're screening phone calls. Eddie screens, 10 calls in a minute.
Yeah, it's not the FBI's not in the room when we're doing it. That's true.
There's no way to prove that. I understand, but you can't prove that these pros are using different numbers.
A good point.
Until they win.
You got one guy in here who Eddie is a novice, making $10,000 a year, and that's not that easy to ask. Is it that much? Making it's not easy. It's hard. Here's Chad in Columbus, Ohio. He's with us here. Chad, welcome. How are you today, pal? Okay.
I'm good. How you doing?
All right, Chad. Nice to talk to you. What's on your mind now? Let me hear.
Oh, yeah. I don't mean to interrupt Contest Gate or whatever you guys got going on over there. But
talk about what you want to talk about. Let me hear.
Right on. I got you. I'm real excited for the XFL. I'm one of probably the few people that am. I hear a lot of negative comments, and I just feel the XFL could be really good as long as they cut some of the bull crap they were doing back in the day when they first tried it out. But the most exciting thing that I'm looking forward to is the possibility of maybe getting an XFL team in Columbus, because as you may know, the Columbus Crew is moving to Texas or something.
Oh, I didn't know that. The soccer team is leaving? I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yeah, they're out of here. So I'm hoping, somebody, maybe Les Wexler, the richest guy in the whole state, will put a team for Monterey Stadium. I think it'd be really good. I wanted to get your opinion on everything. And also, this is supposed to be a sports channel, and I haven't heard anybody say anything about my boy Stipe defending his UFC heavyweight title last week.
Yeah, I can't get into chat. I can't get into that. That's I'm sure Patrick Mawa can spend some time in it. I can't do that. I'll give you everything I got with the big sports. I cannot give you that kind of stuff. I can't do it. X Games, I can't do it. The UMC stuff, I can't do it. As far as the XFL is concerned, sounds like McMahon is going to do this the way he should have done it 10 years ago, and low key it, Just be a football league. Every time that they try to just low key it, they come up with the right intentions and then it falls apart because everybody gets hungry. Trump killed the USFL. No other way around it. He killed the USFL, and they tried too hard a few years ago with the XFL, with NBC, and they try to make it a WWE event. They just do a football league in cities that are dying for some sports in the springtime. It could be relatively successful. Relatively. I covered the USFL, the Orlando Renegades, and if Trump did not get in the mix, and I'm not knocking Trump, it's just fact. If anybody says I'm wrong, they're nuts. If Trump did not get in and have one design, Trump didn't care about the league. Trump cared about getting into the NFL. That's what he cared about. The rest of the owners in that league cared about the league. John Bassett in Tampa, Don Disney in Orlando, they cared about the league. Trump did not. He cared about getting into the NFL. If you have a league that just understands its role, and, even if it's football in the spring and everything else, it will find its niche. It is football. You will find its niche. Here's Michael in St. Louis. He's a good contestant and a good call. Mike, let me hear. Take it away.
Hey, Dog. How are you?
Fine, Mike. Thank you. What's on your mind now?
Well, like I said, I think I fall somewhere in the middle here. I was fortunate enough to win the contest 5 years ago. I'm not a pro. I waited 5 years to call in, though, because I thought that's what it said in my paperwork. So I want everybody to get a chance to win it because, frankly, it was the trip of a lifetime. I think I told you that this week.
You did. Yep.
My kid, who's 14, almost 15 now, still talks about it every year, asks when I'm going to call in again to try to win it again. Of course, he's got a little brother that wants to go next time. So hopefully next year I can get – I got through once this year. I'm going to keep trying to get –
Is it that much? Is it that hard to get on? Is it that hard to get on?
I tried every day. I was able to get through once, and that was yesterday, and I missed the first question just out of stupidity because I didn't listen to you fast before I answered. So it's pretty hard to get through, but, I mean, it's a trip of a lifetime. It should be hard.
I mean, if you sit there and redial for 4 hours, will you eventually get on?
I dialed for almost 90 minutes yesterday and finally got through.
So it's doable. You can get on. Okay.
I was trying every day for an hour because, like I said, I listen to you every day, Dog. I'm not just. I picked you up like 8 years ago. I didn't know who you were until 8 years ago because I'm in the Midwest, but I listen to you every day. My kid listens to you now every day when I pick him up from school because he loves you too. So I don't want you to change a thing with this contest other than maybe keep some of those guys from calling in every 2 years. Do you like the idea of maybe putting the repeat winners, give them harder questions? Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, when the year that I won 5 years ago, I mean, it took me until the last day. I called in every day that year, and I won your last trip on a Friday. I'll never forget it. It was the last day, and the questions you asked me are ones you'd asked all week, and I had kept a spreadsheet and was fortunate enough. And on the audio, I just took a wild guess. I knew it was a guy from Super Bowl 31 Patriots, and about 6 of them had been guessed, and I didn't know it was him, but I guessed and I got it right.
Who was it?
So,
who was it?
It was Ben Coates. It was
Ben Coates. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that's what you're trying to do here. Now, as far as the rules are concerned, we'll all take hits for that. Let's start with Steve, who is the program director of this channel. Do you want to take any responsibility as far as not perusing the rules properly and not catching the loophole that was 5 years and 2 years, which cost us on Tuesday?
If you wish, I could take some responsibility, sure.
Did you go through the rules before the contest began?
I told you the other day, they sent Bill and I the rules to look over. Bill caught some immediate mistakes right away, including a wrong phone number to call into the channel, which I give him credit for. I to be honest with you, I generally glance over them and maybe.
So you did not study it?
No, not as closely as I should. And maybe it sounds like I'm passing the buck, but I do. I trust Bill that he's going to do it, and that's how it goes.
So Bill made the mistake.
No. I don't think. No, look, as we said the other day. I mean, look, should Bill and I take some responsibility? I guess that's fair. But when we discussed earlier, we do have a separate department here that's puts that together and supposed to look it over and make sure that everything is properly
worded.
worded.
Won't make that mistake again.
No.
That's the last thing they want is Chris Russo on there pounding them. Go ahead,
next. I'm sure. And I do think, some of the ideas are worth diving into here because clearly there has to be an adjustment. Clearly. It's, look, Bill did a terrific job. I thought the contest was very entertaining. I had a whole bunch of people that texted me during the course of the week saying it was must-listen radio, can't get enough, appointment radio, fantastic. Looking at the entertainment value of it, I can understand why some people are disappointed, other contestants who didn't win, and I can understand why people would be bitter towards those that did, based on
do you want to make it harder
how the process played out?
You want to make it harder for the repeat winner and give them nothing but audio, something along those lines?
But I don't know how you could do that.
Did you have a problem with today's winner? Sound a little fishy.
Yeah, quite frankly, I did. I have a problem with the spirit. We sort of shattered the spirit of what we're doing.
That was my point 2 days ago.
Now, again, and I'm not taking anything away with how we put it together, or Bill specifically. He did a fantastic job. It's a hard thing to do. Colin has a hard job on but I thought we did a good job with the contest. But I think in the next few months, and obviously as we get close to next year's, there will be adjustments. Trust me when I tell you. And how these guys look to get us.
They're gonna have trouble. They have trouble participating.
Don't look for an uncontested dunk, because it ain't happening again.
Do you think the audio is too easy? The theme, Mathis, Rogers, Lance Moore, too easy.
I think it has been more challenging in the past, but by the same token, honestly, Chris, look at it. It took us to the last day to get 4 winners. You could say all you want about the quote unquote mob and the professionals that are out there. Still took them 4 days to get it done.
All right, but
5 days. I'm sorry.
The last 2 days we stopped early. We could have taken. Today we took a half hour, not the whole show.
It's really no different from how you've done it in the past.
I usually go a little longer.
There have been a couple of years where we've panicked going into day 5, where we've given away 2, where it's like, oh crap, we got to go wall to wall. But
So your basic issue is you think the spirit was somewhat broken? I
do.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't.
So the 4 people who wanted repeat winners bothers you?
Yeah, it does. And again, even if this didn't happen, my philosophy would be, if you won before, let's give somebody else a chance.
Bottom line is, it's going to be pretty firm. If you won before, if you win, you're not winning for 5 years.
If it were up to me, I would say, if you won before, thanks, we're out. But, I don't know if people think that's too harsh.
5 years is plenty. You got a note for me?
No. So you know.
Oh, okay. What else is new?
Let's see. It's cold out.
Tiger is not going to make the cut here, doesn't look like, huh? Is he +1 and you got to be about a -1 to get
I was
in?
hoping he'd make the cut just to see if he could sustain that over 4 days.
I agree. He's played pretty well, but he's going to be, looks like he's healthy, but not making the cut. He hasn't been terrible,
right?
But he's been, he's rusty. But he's all over the place with the driver. It looks to me. I don't have a real feel of the rest of his game. He's even par now with 3 holes to go. He's even. Sounds like -1 is the cut line. So I guess it's not impossible, that he can do that. They can see the board right in front of you there. Current cut is -1 or better, so he's got a birdie one of the last 3 holes. Yeah. That's not the worst
He's
thing.
got a chance.
Got a chance. All right.
Got a chance.
You ready to go to Minneapolis?
Yes, looking forward to the week. We'll be hanging out, you and I, and Babs on Sunday.
Indiana, Purdue, you looking forward to that on Saturday?
I would have been looking forward to it more if Indiana hadn't missed 13 free throws at Illinois the other night and lose by 2 against the winless Illini team in Big Ten play. Colorado hung in there last night at Arizona. They beat them the first time around.
They lost last night?
They lost by 9, but they were leading by 10 early in the first half, tied at the half, got behind by 13, cut it to 1, had a chance to tie. Ended up losing by 9.
On the subject of that, we'll get back to the calls in a minute. I've been following the Kings, Sacramento.
A big win last night in Miami.
Because I got to get the over at 27.5. And Grant Napier is my, he's the voice. He's been on here many a time.
Yes, of course. We love Grant.
And Grant, I grew up with Grant. And when I mean I grew up with Grant, I mean we were inseparable from 1966 to 1974. I mean, you were talking about football, everything. We were inseparable. The two of us, inseparable. And last night, can you get the play-by-play of that sound for maybe later? The last game-winning bucket by De'Aaron Fox, NBC Sportsnet, the Bay Area, Sacramento, NBC. His TV. You can't get it? Okay. His play-by-play of that game-winning basket, I swear to God, I felt like I was back in 1970 at the schoolyard at Split Rock when Grant was broadcasting the games, playing Marv Albert. It was so good. And I texted him at the game was over. I said, Grant, great job broadcasting. You can tell it comes through. You just love this franchise. He's been doing the Kings.
Here's the screen. Bogey. Oh, off balance. And in and out. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball. The 20-year-old comes flying through the air here in South Florida and gives the Kings the lead. Oh, boy.
There you go.
That's all I can say, Grant. Flying through the air with the greatest of ease. Fox comes in and hammers it
That's
down.
Doug Christie.
Bogey steps away.
Who got in the way.
Yeah, slightly.
Oh,
Slightly.
my goodness, to it.
If you had the last 3 seconds when Miami had the ball, that is, look at Grant laugh. Oh, he was so excited.
No, he's
oh,
good. He's good.
That's a great call. What a play, De'Aaron Fox, man. He is going to be a great NBA player. Get the last 3 seconds? Only TV call there. Anyway, to make a long story short.
That's good. Good for Grant's excellent, and good for you. You got a win.
15-33. And I asked Grant about the schedule. They played Orlando Tuesday night.
Oh,
they play the Spurs
You have to
Sunday.
know how many nights they stayed in the hotel and where they were.
4 nights in Miami, the Kings. Not a bad life if you can get it.
That's a little risky, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right, well done, Steve. We'll see you later.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah, things okay? Looking forward to the train.
Yeah.
Listen, when I walk by you there on Sunday afternoon to go to my row and you're in your row,
Understood.
keep your eyes on the newspaper.
Yeah.
And let me go back to my seat way in the back quietly when you're up there reading the New York Times.
Understood. I expected that, actually.
We'll see you shortly. Back in a sec here on Mad Dog Unleashed.